World leaders hold an emergency meeting to discuss support for Ukraine.
Texas recovers from severe storm damage that has left many without homes.
And is COVID-19 finally coming to an end? Stay tuned to find out more later in the show.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV News at Noon. I'm Christine Guevara.
And I'm Ashton Cotton.
Today, leaders from around the world met for an emergency NATO meeting to address the Ukrainian crisis. Ukraine's President Zelensky attended virtually, asking for more assistance from its allies. Zelensky has told NATO leaders that Ukraine only needs a fraction of their firepower, saying, quote, "You can give us 1% of all your planes, 1% of all your tanks, 1%, end quote. NATO members have been hesitant thus far to interfere directly. Zelensky appealed to NATO allies to answer Ukraine's call.
This is the worst during the war, to have no clear answer for our request for help. Ukraine never wanted this war. We don't want to fight. We simply want to survive, to save our people.
NATO is set to meet next week in Spain towards the end of June.
Nearly 1 out of every 4 Ukrainian has been forced out of their homes amidst the Russian invasion. The United States will soon step in to assist some of those who have fled their country. Up to 100,000 Ukrainian refugees will be allowed to enter the U.S. according to the source familiar with the matter. Biden was expected to announce the decision during his European trip as a way to boost the support for those in need. The UN Refugee Agency says more than 3 million people have already fled Ukraine. The U.S. is also planning to reshaping their asylum system, which allows those seeking refuge from prosecution or violence to enter the U.S. The Biden administration is working on overhauling the system to settle claims quicker and help close the backlog of 1.7 million immigration cases that currently exist. The new plan will allow asylum officers to decide on the case instead of waiting for their immigration judge. Officials plan on implementing the change on a smaller scale starting this summer. Christine, the winds yesterday was out of control. Like, even on my morning walk, it kind of messed up my hair a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It didn't mess up mine.
It didn't?
Not at all. No, kidding. But let's see if we can expect any of those winds maybe tomorrow. But let's toss it to Maya Nicholson, our weather anchor. Maya, what do you think?
Thanks, Christine. Our current conditions are mostly sunny, with temperatures sitting at 57 degrees, feeling like 62. Later on this evening, we should expect those temperatures to rise to about 65 degrees with low wind speeds around 8 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, around 7 a.m., we should expect clear skies and cold weather at 32 degrees. That's all I have for my first look forecast. The weather this week has finally come to a rest, but some Texans are still recovering from the severe weather we saw earlier this week. After signing a disaster declaration to speed up recovery efforts, Governor Greg Abbott toured one of the areas affected by Monday's tornado. Lauren Rangel with KXII has the details.
Sherwood Shores is rebuilding more than 53 structures and homes and grieving the only loss of life in Texas from Monday's tornadoes.
If there's anything that I wish we could do over again, it would be to do something that would have protected Veranda Rogers.
Governor Abbott stopped by Grayson County Wednesday to survey the damage. Despite all of it, he says miraculously, no one has needed shelter yet.
Those who have had their homes destroyed, they're staying with family or friends or have other accommodations set up.
A part of his visit includes state relief.
I've signed a disaster declaration that includes Grayson and Cook counties.
The declaration gives county judges the ability to have certain rules and regulations waived to speed up the recovery, something people running relief efforts say they can't go without.
So when our little $5,000 runs out, these people are going to be on the streets or having to go into shelters or leave the community that they've grown up in. So it's life-changing.
He's also asking for people to submit reports of property damage online to tap into federal relief.
Bottom line, we as an entire group including the citizens of this of Grayson County and Cook County, we all need to do everything we can as quickly as possible to make damage assessments and to report those assessments so that we can qualify for FEMA support.
Tune into our full weather forecast to learn more about upcoming weather. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Maya. Denton passes a new ordinance, first of its kind. Find out later in the show.
And coming up, flying on a plane may look a little different in the near future. Stay with us.
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry.
It's that time of year where everyone plays a dangerous game with the flu. Going in uneducated, you run the risk of symptoms like cough, migraine, and fatigue. Don't be like this guy. Combat the flu with cough drops, ibuprofen, and a good night's sleep. Be smart, don't catch the flu.
Oh hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
The first female U.S. Secretary of State, Madeleine Albright, has passed away at the age of 84. Originally born in Prague, Albright came to the U.S. in 1948 to escape communist Yugoslavia. Albright participated in former President Bill Clinton's administration as Secretary of State. She was married to Joseph Albright from 1959 until 1983, and they had 3 kids. Albright served as a U.S. ambassador before becoming the nation's top diplomat in Clinton's second term. She was also awarded the Medal of Freedom in 2012 by former President Barack Obama. During her term as Secretary of State, Albright advocated for many important issues, including the expansion of NATO and reducing the spread of nuclear weapons.
Earlier this month, ntTV took a trip to the Texas State Capitol in Austin, and reporter Andrea Valdez had the opportunity to talk to a UNT Texas history professor to discuss this historic building's beginnings.
Take a trip to the city of Austin and go down the historic Congress Avenue. You will be met by the crown jewel of the city, the Texas Capitol building. But how did this location and historic building come to be?
Austin is central. It has good water, good location. And of course, over the years, you get this fondness for it. It's the way things ought to be.
The Capitol building underwent 3 different transformations, with the second building tragically burning down. However, once construction began on the version standing today, there was a certain vision in mind going forward.
It was nothing but a log building like every building was there. Texas by this time is very much beginning to catch up on the New South, very proud. They wanted a Capitol bigger than anybody else.
To bring this idea to life, Texas called on Chicago residents and Italian artists, offering them land in exchange for their services to create a building that made visitors look closer at the detail work.
They want you to know what a great place Texas is. We are so awesome because look at our awesome Capitol building and the detail work, the beautiful carvings, the artwork that they've put in it, the artwork that they will put in it.
Today, the Capitol grounds welcome close to 200,000 visitors every year eager to explore the building.
What started off as a log cabin in 1839 is now one of the largest state capitals across the U.S., including the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C.
But as Texas grew and began to think of itself as modern, as civilized, they wanted a building that when visitors came for official business, they got that message.
So the next time you visit the Capitol building, look closer at the detail work in every corner, not just inside the Capitol, but in the unique features outside, and bask in an important piece of Texas history. For ntTV News, I'm Andrea Valdez.
On Tuesday, the first non-discrimination ordinance has finally passed in Denton. Currently, we have our reporter Cameron Baez at the Denton Courthouse with more information. What can you tell us about this newest ordinance, Cameron?
Yes, that's right, Ashton. I'm currently outside the Denton County Courthouse, where after many years of long debating, a 5-2 vote that took place in the Denton City Council Hall has finally passed the non-discrimination policy. The policy works to protect individuals from discrimination based on gender identity and sexual orientation. That means complaints filed under these topics are now to be investigated by the city, potentially leading to Class C misdemeanors for people found guilty. It wasn't easy to pass this policy by any means, as many speakers appealed to morality, compassion, and economic sense to council members in an attempt to pass the non-discrimination policy. Among those speakers was Kathleen Hobson, a former member of Outreach Denton, an executive board member of Pride Denton, and the UNT's Pride Alliance director. That's all I have for now. Back to you, Christine and Ashton.
Thanks, Cameron. The weather looked really nice over there at the Denton Square. Super sunny.
It did. This is my kind of weather. You know, hopefully we won't see a change in the rest of the week. But let's head over to our weather anchor, Maya Nicholson, for more. Maya?
Welcome to our full weather forecast. Taking a look at our current conditions across North Texas, we can see that we have 57 degrees in McKinney, 59 degrees in Fort Worth, and in Gainesville we have 56 degrees. Looking out across the state, we can see most of our temperatures are sitting around 55 degrees, with our highest temperature being in Austin at 69. Finishing off with our 7-day forecast, we can see our temperatures beginning to rise up to and throughout the week, giving us warm showers on Tuesday with a 55% chance of rain. Wednesday, those temperatures are going to drop down to 69 degrees. That's it for our full weather forecast. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Maya. Now, for the past 2 years, the pandemic has caused over 900,000 deaths in the U.S., but according to a recent CDC forecast, COVID-19 related deaths will drop. The prediction is that less than 13,000 people may die from the virus over the next 4 weeks. That's almost a 50% drop from the previous forecast and the lowest it's ever been so far this year. The CDC also says hospitalizations will decrease between now and mid-April.
And as the pandemic improves in the U.S., you may be able to fly maskless soon. A group of airline companies are asking President Biden to end the travel mask and test mandates. But will the White House give them what they want? CNN's Amy Kiley has a story.
These 10 U.S. airlines and cargo carriers have a request for the Biden administration. They want to get rid of mask mandates on flights and test requirements for international travel. Some European countries are starting to do that, but not everyone thinks it's a good idea.
Those countries are lifting the restrictions brutally, from too much to too few.
The federal transportation mask mandate ends April 18th, barring another extension. The White House says it's consulting the CDC about lifting it earlier. That agency reports cases are trending down. It's also warning the new Omicron subvariant is more transmissible than the original version.
Our vaccines work, our boosters work, and it does not indicate more severe disease than the original Omicron.
It's still unclear who might need another booster. Some people have been clear they don't want to wear a mask.
Look around you. This is the power. We, the people, have the power.
If the Biden administration does lift the COVID-19 transportation mandates now, it can always reimpose them later.
We look at hospitalizations for COVID-19, we look at hospital capacity, and importantly, we also look at cases. So all of those go into the formulation as we use those metrics for future guidance.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Gas prices are on the rise, but with this Chicago man is paying the price, $1 million worth of it actually. Stay with us.
And if you plan on attending college in the fall, you may be paying more than you expect. We'll have the details right after the break.
Hi, I'm Kennedy, the president of Black Film Club, and what I love about BFC is the atmosphere and the members. The family feel that we have in our club is really genuine. What about you, Bree?
My name is Bree. I'm the vice president of Black Film Club, and what I love about Black Film Club is there is a small but close, like, little family. You know, I feel like a lot of times when you go to a PWI, it's hard to find like a Black community that share the same interests in you. So I'm very blessed and grateful to have, you know, found my family.
What I would say I like about Black Film Club is obviously the environment that it sets for everybody. I love the officers. I've been rocking with basically all of them since day one, since freshman year. We all came in here at the same time, all got involved with Black Film Club at the same time. So it's been a nice community to grow with, and then seeing new members come, seeing them get interested, seeing how they like Black film, teaching them what we can teach them before we leave, and giving them the mantle to take over.
Six, 7. Hey, didn't see you there. Just finished my 100th rep. You ready to train? Yeah. You got your weights? Yeah. You got your energy drink? Of course. You got time to go to the Pole Recreation Center? Yeah. What? Listen, I didn't even graduate high school. I can't teach for the life of me.
Instead, UNT is offering workout classes at a moderate pace, including yoga, cycling, Pilates, and more. Don't rely on your dad's old workout videos. Check out the UNT Rec Center today.
With gas inflation and now food inflation, your wallet may be taking a hit. Students on campus will see an increase within housing and dining for the next academic year. Room and board will increase by 2% and meal plans will increase by 3%. The last inflation was in fall of 2020. ntTV's Hannah Gonzalez had the chance to sit down with James Fairchild, the director of housing at UNT, to break down why the university believes this is necessary.
Prepared to be able to address things like just basic inflation, things that have occurred in the last couple of years, just in the global economy. Things cost more, especially things like gas, electricity, water, things like that are the basic parts of making the residence halls run. Being prepared to be able to address cost changes, and that really ties into that small increase. Similar for dining. Food costs have gone up pretty significantly during the pandemic. Supply chain issues that come along with that.
For the 2022 and 23 academic school year, a double occupancy dorm will cost around $6,000. This is around a $150 increase from this current school year. On your screen, we can see UNT's rate compared to other large universities in Texas. UNT sits in the middle compared to the other schools. UT Austin costing more than $13,000 and Tech being the most affordable, a little under $5,000. One thing that won't see a change next fall is tuition. UNT factors many options when deciding whether to increase these components.
One of UNT's priorities is providing an affordable option for students. And so, the cost of housing, the cost of dining, tuition and fees all rolls into that for that total package and the financial commitment we're asking of our students. being able to incorporate that into the decision making on what are we going to propose and ultimately pass on to the cost of students is taken very seriously in that process.
If we compare UNT's tuition to other Texas universities, we sit modestly around $8,000. TCU, a private institution, reaches almost $54,000. While we don't plan to see an increase in tuition next school year, the university will meet mid-fall for their annual discussion if costs need to be more modified for the future.
A Chicago citizen hosted a gas giveaway last week and is now planning another on an even bigger scale this Thursday. 48 surrounding gas stations in Chicago will participate. Stephen Wade reports.
I had no idea that they were going to be this big. But when it happened, it just exploded. And I was surprised like everybody else.
Willie Wilson is digging into his pockets once again. The millionaire who's previously given away truckloads of face masks during the pandemic, now planning to donate $1 million worth of gas to help people dealing with the surging gas prices after already shelling out $200,000 last week.
A lot of people didn't get a chance to. They stood in line, and I saw people in tears.
It's free gas. It's up to $50, right? Yes. So the gas is $5 a gallon, so yes, I'll be here.
Bobby Knoll says she'll be here tomorrow at this participating Shell station in Park Forest.
We found out about it Saturday afternoon, so it's kind of been a rush to get things prepared.
Park Forest PD says they'll be directing cars through a residential area to avoid backup on the major thoroughfare after last week caused massive gridlock in Chicago. A few suburban locations have since decided not to participate.
It took the better part of a day to try and figure out the best route that's going to cause the least amount of impact.
The town of Cicero and the Chicago Police Department also working to mitigate traffic issues. Cars can begin lining up at 7 a.m.
Last week, we really weren't given much notification. This time around, we had a few days extra to kind of plan for this.
Last July, the NCAA adopted a historic policy that allowed college athletes to profit off of their name, image, or likeliness. Since then, there has been a mad dash to sponsor some of the nation's top college athletes, and the sports brand Adidas is no exception. The company recently announced they'll be creating a program that will allow 50,000 college athletes to become paid endorsers. It is not known exactly how much these athletes will be making. Adidas is the first major sports brand to create a program for paying college athletes. That sounds like great money, first of all, but maybe one of our UNT athletes will be a part of that 50,000.
Or maybe one of us can put on a jersey and get endorsed. You never know. But let's toss it to our sports anchor, Sebastian Nava, for more details and the latest on UNT sports.
As much fun as that sounds, it's checks over stripes, since that's what I like. Stick around after the break and we'll get into UNT softball, the Mavericks win, and a huge international match taking place tonight.
UNT is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
North Texas softball will be taking a trip to North Carolina to take on the Charlotte 49ers. The Mean Green are coming off a series win versus the Florida Atlantic University Owls, taking 2 out of 3 games right here at home. The series concluded this past Sunday with a 7-3 win over the Owls in a game that saw a solo home run from team leader Kaylee Christensen and a grand slam home run from first baseman Kaylee Gamble. The series win pushes the Mean Green to a 5-1 start in conference play and keeps North Texas on top of the Conference USA standings. UNT will take on our Charlotte 49ers team that just took 2 out of 3 games in San Antonio versus the UTSA Roadrunners. This series starts tomorrow night at 5 p.m. in Charlotte. The Mavericks scored a win versus the struggling Houston Rockets without star player Luka Doncic. Doncic wasn't available to play last night due to right ankle soreness after a Monday matchup with the pesky Patrick Beverley and the Minnesota Timberwolves. But as he rested on the sideline, the squad pulled together to pull out a 110-91 win in the AAC. Jalen Brunson led the way on the score sheet with 28 points on 52% shooting. Spencer Dinwiddie also stuffed his stat line with 26 points on 13 shots, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, a block, and a steal on the night. The win was a great birthday present to Mavericks legend and head coach Jason Kidd, who celebrated his 49th birthday yesterday. The Mavs are hopeful that Luka Doncic will return to the court for an end-of-the-season run. The Mavericks are currently tied with the Utah Jazz for 4th and sit 3 games behind the Warriors for the 3rd seed. Their playoff push begins tomorrow night at 8 p.m. in Minnesota for a rematch with the Timberwolves. With the World Cup set to take place later on this year in December, many nations are still planning to book their tickets to Qatar. Among those teams are fierce rivals USA and Mexico. The USMNT and El Tri currently sit 2nd and 3rd in the qualifying standings with 3 games left, and neither team has clinched a spot in the tournament yet. The USA team will feature products of the FC Dallas Academy, including Ricardo Pepi, Kellen Acosta, and current FC Dallas forward Jesus Ferreira. The USA have been enjoying a 3-game win streak versus Mexico and will look to continue their streak en route to a qualifying spot. The match will kick off at the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City tonight at 9 p.m. Tonight's match is expected to be nothing less than intense, with their fierce history and everything to lose for either team. That's all I have for sports. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Sebastian. If you're a fan of Harry Styles, listen up. Mark up your calendars because the British sensation is releasing his new album. Named Harry House, the album will have 13 brand new songs and will be released on May 20th. The Grammy-winning artist will no stranger to his hit songs. His first and second album topped the Billboard Hot 200 charts back in 2017 and 2019, respectively. You can check out the album cover and a trailer for the album on his social media.
Ooh, I'm really excited about that album. Are you guys fans of Harry?
Yeah, I mean, Harry's cool and all, but I'd rather listen to a real One Direction member like Zayn.
Oh, T.
Nobody has better fashion sense than Harry, though.
Whoa.
Yeah, I like the fashion sense. I'm like with the bell bottoms.
Okay, fair. All right. That's right.
Yeah. But thanks for watching ntTV News at noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 here on North Texas Television.